you know how in Helldivers and mainly Helldivers, they have like the story that moves on depending on how things kind of go down anyway. The developers will like play into it, and that's how the story works. Imagine if they did that in Arc Raiders, but they wrote into the story that like Raiders were originally hostile to each other, and then they started to realize that they had to reclaim the planet, and in order to do so, they had to work together. Like they could write that into the story, and then in like a year or two's time, we could have like not PvE only, but like, okay, like if you want to, you can go to like these robot camps and kill queens and shit, and you will actually progress like saving the planet. Like there'll be a difference. You'll return one of the maps to like nature or something if you all succeed.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Meanwhile, I'm over here ordering Squirrel Girl body pillows for y'all for Christmas. Christ. Oh, y'all are gonna get some weird ass fucking Christmas presents from me.
Hold on, now I gotta Google that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, y'all are gonna get some weird ass
girl body pillow.
Okay, that was recorded. So Clyde, that I own that piece of footage now.
Blackmail never tasted so sweet.
I own that piece of footage. Content Farm, episode 26. A little bit more of a chill session. We've got some news to cover. Mainly the GTA delay. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that Halo Infinite has come to an end after 4 years. I'll talk a little bit about that and how I feel about Halo Infinite as it in general and how that all kind of went down. We also want to talk about the Mass Effect TV show stuff, maybe some Elder Scrolls there were some comments made about that today as of time of recording. And then later on, we're going to talk about what makes some games feel classic or timeless compared to others. So like examples being like a Minecraft or Mario. Like why do these games, even the old ones, not necessarily the sequels, but why do they like stick with us? And why do people go back and play them, and why do people talk about them all the time? What was different about those compared to, games that have like hundreds of times the budget, which don't have that same sticking effect? Like, why does it happen for some games? We're going to talk about all that later on. But yeah, I should say I'm with Peter Goat on a Stick and Clyde at Saltbuff, both on YouTube on the screen. Say hello or whatever.
Hello.
Howdy, y'all.
So, should we talk about Rockstar's latest advancement, or regression, I should say, in regards to GTA 6? They announced, I think, like 2 days ago, as of time of recording, that the game will not be coming out in May, which stung a little bit, because even though May is quite far away, I really had it like, it was one of those things that was like set in my mind, like kind of like a deadline, like, okay, I can be miserable for now, but in May GTA will come out. Like we just gotta power through like a handful of months, and then we'll play GTA 6, which is something that's just so incomprehensible to think about. Like, it's so crazy to think about actually playing that game, and I was excited, which I'm sure we will be excited again, but we won't be excited now until November 19th. November 19th is the new release date. And yeah, basically, obviously, I want to know your thoughts. Like, do you think there was a serious reason, or were you expecting this? Anything like that?
It was to be expected. I think the community was expecting it too, because I think they did this a lot before with their other games. Personally, I don't mind this stuff. I love it when they take time to fix stuff rather than just put it out early and complaining about all this stuff that's broken that could have been fixed within a month or two extra. So, I think it's really nitpicky to be waiting like years and years for this game to come out, and you can't just wait a couple months more just for them to add a little bit of polish on it.
Yeah, 100%. Clyde, any thoughts?
I don't know if I completely agree. I'm in the exact same spot. I don't know if y'all saw the comments from the CD Projekt Red devs that were like, "Don't do what we did with Cyberpunk. Delay the game for love of God." Oh yeah, they came out and supported. Said the delay is wise. Don't release it in a botched state. Yeah, so
that's funny.
I think the games industry is also kind of echoing those sentiments. Like, why? I mean, this is one of the most anticipated games of the generation, maybe the most anticipated game of the generation. So why release it in a suboptimal state? I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, I wonder, will it be able to meet the expectations? That is, we're only going to find out that in November of next year at the earliest. But man, I'm excited for it. GTA 6 is going to be pretty wild. It's going to be a pretty special experience, I think.
I mean, if those trailers and the little snippets of cutscenes that we've seen, throughout trailer 1 and trailer 2 are in any regards a representation of what the final product might look like, then we're talking about a seriously, like, just massive project, like unbelievably massive project. We haven't seen anything with that kind of fidelity, even close, really, yet. So I hope that's legit. And if delaying until November means that they have to, it means that we will get that product. We're more likely to get the product that looks like that. Then yeah, absolutely fair game. Obviously, as much as it hurt a little bit, like you said about CD Projekt Red, like Cyberpunk was so hyped. The trailers for that were all really cool. The gameplay for that made it look really clean, like pre-launch. And if GTA 6 was to go down that path, that could be a monumental flop, because we've been waiting for people have been waiting for this game for what, 13 years? At least 13 years. So it's
there's also
yeah.
There's one other thing here we have to just acknowledge, which is like Rockstar is not Bethesda. They don't really miss. Like pretty much everything they release is pretty solid. Like Red Dead 2 was absolutely mind-blowingly good, and GTA 5 was absolutely mind-blowingly good. Like this is not a Bethesda. What are we gonna get? Are we getting a Starfield with Elder Scrolls 6, or are we getting like who know? Like no one knows. So I think giving them the benefit of the doubt is a lot easier when their quality is just so high and so consistent. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it lives up to people's expectations, and how it reviews. But man, oh man, it looks. I mean, we've already seen, like, just from the few trailers they've shown. I don't know if y'all saw the story that was going around of like the beer physics in glasses. People were like losing their minds about beer swishing in glasses. Like the expectations for this are out of control, and I think it's going to be pretty wild to see how it reviews and plays. But yeah, very excited for it.
I'm really interested to see just what kind of level of detail we're going to see, because although GTA 5 was like, at the time, it looked very good, and it has attention to detail in it, of course, it's nothing on like Red Dead 2. GTA 6 was more about like cartoony GTA fun, like action, like ridiculous action at some points. But this
GTA 5, you mean?
GTA 5, sorry, did I misspeak? GTA 5 was more like, silly fun. It looked realistic, and it had realistic elements to it. Obviously, that's like a GTA stamp. But this GTA 6, I don't know, it like the attention to detail we're seeing in the trailers for that are like, it looks like a bigger leap than the leap to Red Dead 2, if the trailers are like to be trusted. So I'm really interested to see how much they lean into like the Red Dead 2 aspect of things, because they've always been a little bit separate in terms of like vibe and realism. Well, at least Red Dead 2 was like extremely realistic, like way more realistic and like immersive than GTA 5. That was just the nature of that game. And I'm excited to see if there's going to be a lot of that in the game. Like, will it have, for example, having to like holster your weapons in bags or on your back, and in regards to inventory space, will it have like realistic car physics, like filling up petrol and filling up diesel and shit? Like, what kind of thing, like, anything like that you could think about? Like, do you have to drink and eat? Like, I could see it potentially. There were leaks to suggest that it might be that might be the case, but those leaks are like a couple of years old, and even then, the source was older than the leaks themselves. So I feel like that's subject to change anyway. But if that does happen, and it has like Red Dead 2 sort of like deep RPG element, like deeply immersive elements injected into it, this could be my favorite GTA game, because that's one of the things I love about Red Dead 2 is the extra touch of like everything having to like somewhat make sense, holstering weapons, etc., and things like that, and the fucking horse physics and shit. That would be ideal for me, and I don't think anyone would really. I don't know how you can hate that. I feel like that's almost always a good thing. Yeah, I'm very interested.
They're one of the few studios pushing gaming forward. Like they really are just pushing the technology forward. They're pushing the immersiveness, the experience forward. I mean, Taylor and I just got done playing Outer Worlds 2, and we really enjoyed it. Really great game. It doesn't really push gaming forward in any meaningful way. It's just we've seen this storytelling from Obsidian before. I've seen it from Bethesda 20 years ago. So I'm always excited when I think about like the future of gaming and the studios that like are pushing gaming forward. Rockstar is one of those studios. Obsidian not so much these days, but Yeah, I think GTA 6, whatever it is going to be pretty wild and pretty special. So yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, also targeting November, like November release date, like puts them right in the crosshairs of like, holiday shoppers, parents buying it for their kids. It's just it's gonna be wild. I think it's gonna fly off store shelves. Like it's gonna be crazy.
It's also
That's just it. It's so absolutely like planned to be so huge that like game companies are like putting their release dates, planning it around GTA 6 so they don't get absolutely squashed by the sales. Like you'll hear the size of relief I could hear from here when they announced that it was being delayed, because a lot of these games were coming up. You know what I'm talking about?
I remember like Kingdom Come 2 devs were all hyped when they found out it got pushed out of 2025 because they thought they had a chance of winning Game of the Year. That was like that was a big, they were excited about that. I hope they do, to be honest, but that's a whole different conversation, maybe for another day. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned the release dates and the shifting around and shit, because that Halo remake that we talked about last week was announced, obviously, not that long ago now. And that's for like November 16th. Of 2026, because that's the release date of the original game, which is absolutely the day they'll try and release it on. It would be weird if they didn't. That's what they've done for like all their other remasters, because it's supposed to be like an anniversary celebration for the 25th year.
Absolutely buried in the news.
It will be buried.
Yeah.
It will not be covered. It will not be covered.
So. Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, that's a terrible coincidence for Halo Studios. They're probably so upset right now. I mean, November's always a stacked month anyway, but that's the worst thing. That's the worst case scenario. The biggest game to ever release in the history of games just landing on your doorstep, basically. Wow.
I mean, and like, let's be real. Like, the Halo game is already rather controversial. It's already rather like, it's not universally hyped for it. So
not
they
even
were already
going to
have to fight for attention. Yeah, exactly. They were already going to have to battle hard for attention, and the fact that GTA 6 is like eyeing that release window is just like, that's not going to go well. But dang, oh geez, that's pretty crazy.
What do you think is the best?
Yeah, I'm glad we're all on the same page. Like, delays for high-profile games are good, especially when the studios have a great track record. Like, I don't know, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I mean, they got this. So,
I mean, they said
out.
It's for polish and stuff, and I believe them. Like, they must see some stuff right now that has them a little bit concerned about the May release date, and just don't do that. Just don't, like CD Projekt Red said, just don't put yourself in that situation. There's no need. The game will make £1 billion trillion anyway. Just push the release date back a bit. It's not going to hurt. You're going to get a better product. What do you think is the best Rockstar game?
Vice City. I mean, how do you beat Vice City? Geez, I don't know. I mean, that's probably a question better aimed for y'all. I mean, GTA 5 has quite a few moments that completely blew my mind in just absurdity, randomness. Red Dead 2 has incredible storytelling, incredibly tense moments, just incredibly immersive. I mean, Red Dead 2 was so profound, it got spoofed on South Park. There was a whole South Park episode of like Randy just wanting to go home and be like, I've got to play Red Dead 2. Like, it's like, it's crazy how their games are just so beloved. They become like cultural moments in and of themselves. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about Rockstar games. Is like, I could see somebody saying any of their games and being like right, like being like not, like being like right in their own way.
Like you said before, they kind of just don't miss. Like, even their weaker games were like, all of the games I remember being like so popular with my friends. Like, there wasn't really a dud game since, like, obviously past like GTA 3 and stuff. Like, I don't know any of that stuff, but I mean, like,
I remember each game that came out was just revolution. Like, the first GTA came out and the people were just in arms because it was violent and it was all about jacking cars and working for the mafia and stuff. And then like 3 came out and it was all in 3D, and they had like, you could like pick up hookers, you could, like work as a taxi if you wanted to. It was like open world when there wasn't much open world, one of the first open world games. So it just blew people's minds. And then like 4 and 5 just like built up on that. And then like Red Dead, like you said, it's just like a whole different, tangent. And like they really dove deep into that. And it's great with the authenticity of like everything, the systems and the guns and the ammo.
They,
the way you
they
order them
gave
through
the
a catalog. That's
horses, the horses have testicles in Red Dead.
testicles.
I mean, yeah, like that's ridiculous. Yeah, like their commitment to
John,
like,
clip it.
oh,
Clip
it's
it, clip it
crazy.
again.
It's like, yeah,
Clyde montage incoming.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like you can tell they put a lot of care into their games and so much depth. And like I said, whenever they come out, they just absolutely knock it out of the park. And I can't wait for 6-2. And I'm even someone who didn't play 5 very much, but still I got a lot of enjoyment out of what I did played it. So, and I know for a fact that like there's huge communities around like mods and role playing and stuff.
Oh,
and
the
5
role playing.
and
I didn't even think about that.
them integrating that into the game is just going to make it like absolutely explode like we haven't seen before. So I'm eager just to see what people get from that, like, because communities are very creative with that stuff.
They are.
Role playing. We could have a whole episode just about GTA role playing and the crazy stories people come up with and the characters they come up with. Like, it's mind blowing. That community is super sick, and their commitment to their characters and their stories is just wild. And yeah, I think GTA 6 is going to be a cultural moment, and hopefully this 6 months or this 5 months gets them that time to really polish it and make it sick. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really, really neat. So I'm excited to see how they decide to push gaming forward.
Yes, me and my friends crashed crashed a fucking talent show in GTA RP. I don't know how we got into the server. I think we got in through through a friend of a friend. We got into like a quite high profile YouTuber roleplay server for like British like GTA and like FIFA YouTubers and stuff. I feel like I'm confessing to a crime right now, by the way, so no one's going to listen to this, so hopefully, so it's okay.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, and like, obviously we knew about this talent show they were holding, where like one of the bigger YouTubers was like, they had a full setup, where like the hosts sit in the chairs and stuff. It's all animated, like really well made. They have a whole talent show room, multiple cameramen holding cameras like in game and streaming on Twitch. Like this was a legit setup. And they had like queues of like there was like 50 people in the waiting room outside. Like in Britain's Got Talent or the American Idol, where they're all sat outside in like on like airport benches. They had that, and there was people sat in there, and they had security everywhere. So me and my friends were trying to figure out like how we were going to get in and do something. And we were trying to figure out plot it for a really long time. And the plan we had eventually, because a couple of us had tried to like sneak through the door, but they had a system where you could just get grappled, like grappled by another player immediately. So the security, who had literally people just standing there, like 2 on each door, like real players.
Yeah.
Getting ready for someone to come in. So we figured that like walking or running in was not going to work because you get caught and they'll just like admin grapple you. So the plan that eventually came forward was that one of us was going to ride a motorbike through the door to the lobby, so inside the lobby, and then we were trying to figure out like, okay, but if we fuck this up and crash, he's gonna get arrested. So we planned the fastest route to get it, like zigzag around the chairs, through the double door and down, and then it was downstairs, and then you just had to go straight into the door to the to like the audition lounge.
Yeah,
and you pulled
the planning involved.
And he pulled it off so well that he went in, smashed through the door to the lobby. Like within like half a second, he was through the door past security, down the stairs, slammed straight through the door into the audition room. Managed to drive straight across like the audition floor. Probably ran over about 3 people on the way, and then hit the cameraman dead on, like directly hit the cameraman. Like from the stream's perspective, it was just bike in face.
Nice.
Yeah, and it just
I hope you have a clip of that.
There's a bunch of videos I'll have to show you, but like just splattered the cameraman straight in the face. It was a 100% perfect execution. He couldn't have executed.
Then you guys were howling with laughter after that.
Oh my god, we still talk. This was like when RP first came out, like years ago. We still talk about it all the time. It was a very well executed.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Dang.
Every RP server needs its villains. Like, what's the point of security if no one's going to try and break it? You know what I mean? Like, they'd just be wasting their time. You got to give them something to think about.
The RP goes hard in GTA. Like when Peter said, like, "Oh yeah, you get arrested for that" or something. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, there are probably RP lawyers on that server that like represent people who get accused of crimes. Like
100%.
Wow.
it's wild how like deep the RP rabbit hole goes for GTA stuff. Like it really is like fascinating, and it blows my mind when I see people like they're like, oh yeah, my RP job is I work this counter at this like gas station, and that's what I do for 6 hours a day. And I'm like, what? Like it's just mind blowing to me that that's their character. Like that's what they want to do on the
Crazy.
RP server. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty neat. The commitment is pretty wild.
Have you ever watched the streams or the videos of people who are like police officers or like healthcare work, like ambulance, and they're just going like they have full setup, like the police car is fully modeled with like the laptop radio, like fully functioning. They're all radioing each other and they're all like Alpha Bravo Tango. We got a suspect on 59th Street, like locked in, and then they're just chasing after these fucking goons with dog masks on and shit, just running around trying to cause chaos, just like.
It's crazy.
You know, following rules of engagement, getting in there and arresting them, like fucking ready or not. It's so funny.
Dude, imagine in GTA 6, it's just going to be even more. You know, the fidelity is going to be even higher. The immersion is going to be even higher. Like, I think as long as they don't totally botch this, I think GTA 6 will push it forward. It'll be interesting to see, but. Yeah, one of these days we got to show Peter some of these streams where like RP lawyers defend RP, victim or accusers. It's pretty detailed. It's pretty intricate.
They also have like infamy inside their servers. Like I remember in our server that we were in, there was a guy called the Joker, and he was like famous. Like you'd be in like the spawn area, and he'd come over, and there'd be a crowd of like 100 players around him, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's the Joker! It's the Joker!" And it was just a guy with the Joker face paint on, and he was like a mafia. He was like the fucking mafia overlord of the server or some shit. And this had real fame in a fake universe.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. It goes so deep. I can't believe that it was so like out of nowhere as well, because I feel like it was like just pre-COVID that it exploded, the RP maybe. I don't remember the exact time frame. But that's like a long time after the game launched, and then all of a sudden this game just exploded with an entirely different audience, like roleplay audience. That's how you know a game's got serious fucking potential. Like it was like a complete resurgence. Not that it was ever dead, but it was like a brand new thing, a new reason to like the game. And it just had everyone's attention, like everyone was streaming it.
I think that's the right word, is everyone, because I've met people that I would never in a million years think that they would be into GTA RP. Like one of our friends is like a coder at Apple, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my weekends I GTA RP, and I'm like the head of a company on this RP server where I like hire people and do stuff." And it's like it's wild. The variety of people who play GTA RP is so wide. It's so diverse, and it's really interesting to see like all the different kinds of personalities and young kids, older people, coders, non-techies. It's interesting. Definitely a pretty wild community there. Might be one of the most diverse communities in gaming, to be honest with you.
It is. It's great. Did you ever play any of like the Peter maybe, I don't know, like the Gmod roleplay?
I did not. No.
No.
I've been on a server for Gmod, but like I just didn't get it. I remember gosh, what was it? Me and a friend, we had joined a server that was a Gmod roleplay server for Star Wars.
Yep. And I was about to mention the same one.
Yeah, and like as soon as we got on, this guy who's I guess job is to onboard new members, he brought us through a tour, and they had a room specifically designed to introduce players, and like it was full of like photos on the wall to like explain all the different all the different statuses and ranks and processes and areas and everything. It was like going through like a PowerPoint presentation, and then it was like, and as soon as he was done, then my friend ran off and like got arrested for being somewhere he shouldn't be. So that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but I was gonna bring that up. That's the whole reason I brought up Gmod roleplay, because I think we might have played the same server, or I assume there's like a couple of different versions. But yeah,
could have
spawned in, and there was like I was with like 5 other recruits, and we were all in like recruit uniform. And there was one guy who was just like standing, explaining to the game to everyone, and he was like teaching everyone how to like sit in chairs and stuff. But he was making us all do it one by one to prove that we can do it. Like how to like salute, how to stand in certain poses, how to sit down on chairs, and we were all just doing it like fucking kids in school.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, it was weird. We didn't play much after that. Well, we didn't play at all after that.
No, I didn't either. I think I got
it was an
scared.
experience.
I was like, this is too legit for me. This is too serious.
Yeah. We were bored, wandered off, and we got into trouble, and not working there anymore.
I think your internet died, Peter, but I think it'll be back in a second.
Oh, internet.
Oh my god, that was terrifying.
Back.
You turned into a robot for a moment there.
I am AI.
Wow.
Rendered
Well
by
timed.
a machine.
Wow.
Well timed.
Wow. That was convincing.
It sounded like I am AI. I am AI. Like it was well timed. It's pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
back.
I think you're
back to
back.
reality.
I think you're back.
Okay.
But maybe it's good you cut me off.
Internet does that.
We move on to a different topic. Can I talk about Halo Infinite briefly? We talked about Halo for a long time last week, so I won't like make it a really long thing. It's just, this is a notable time because Halo Infinite, a game that I love and hate for like 100 different reasons, mostly negative, but you know, I have a connection to it, is what I'm trying to say, is finally being, they're ending support. They're not going to add any significant like content updates to the game again. It's not Infinite. It's Finite. It's now
How old
Finite.
is it?
4 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get into it. So at first note I put down is that this was one of those 10-year plan games. Like they said that, like, you know, the 10-year plan thing that everyone tries to say.
Yeah.
Who else was it?
Yeah.
That's like I feel like there's a ton of games that said it. One of them that did stick to it was like Destiny. I think it doesn't count though because Destiny made a new game and charged like £60 for it. So I don't know if that counts as 10-year plan, but obviously Destiny's still going and it's been well over 10 years now. I think it released in 2014. It's still going now, just technically it's on a second game, so you can maybe give them that or whatever. But yeah, Halo Infinite was one of those 10-year games that was just obvious. Like people knew that the second they said it, like 5 years ago, we all knew that was bullshit. And here we are in the future. It's bullshit.
I'd rather take a true sequel over the Overwatch 2, where they just slap a 2 on it and they change around a couple characters and call it a game. Call it a new game.
Yeah, that's exactly where my brain went as well, Peter, was Overwatch 2.
Didn't Overwatch 2 was planned to have single player though, and that maybe would have added like value to a sequel, but they canned the single player, right? I remember there was a trailer for it and everything, but it got
Oh yeah, huge
complete
pushback. The community blew up with them. I mean, for good reason. It's like that's the main draw for a lot of people. A lot of people wanted that PvE content.
Wow. Yeah, that's
And
terrible.
they still since Overwatch 2, they still haven't done the PvE single player, and yet within that time, Marvel Rivals released, and now they have a zombies mode, which is it's a small little mini game, but it's still a PvE thing that they were able to release, you know, and it's got little tiny talent trees and stuff and abilities, and Overwatch still doesn't have what they promised. Like, it's sad. They had so much time to work on it, and it was literally the whole entire draw of the sequel. It's, hey, we're gonna make Overwatch 2, and it's gonna have this huge PvE thing. You know, get hype.
It's really embarrassing when a game is struggling like that and another game just completely sweeps it. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really embarrassing, and it happened a lot to Halo Infinite because Halo Infinite was like marketed as this $500 million like super game, like one of the most like premier games ever. That's how they were talking about this shit leading up to development. And when it came out, it was just terrible, like barely functioning, no features. Yeah, and this is kind of leading into what I want to say. Basically, now that it's over, I think we can quite confidently talk about how it went and all that stuff. And it was really disappointing. I got some notes down for some stuff that didn't even, so things that never even happened over their 4 years of this massive live service that we were all excited for. They all told us we were getting everything we wanted. First of all, I want to comment on the fact that of these 4 years that the game was out, it took 1 year for Halo Infinite to release match XP. It took over 12 months for match. It came out in beta first. Is this not making you cringe in pain? They released XP in a beta. I remember downloading the beta for it. Like, they were like, the XP is not quite working yet, so we're gonna release a build where it's like to test. Before they added XP, the entire progression was that you'd complete these challenges that were all like really menial, like simple challenges, and that challenge.
I hate that.
And that challenge, when you completed it, would level you up a certain amount. It was not XP. It was just like you get the same for every challenge. Yeah.
I'm assuming these challenges were something like use this weapon to get these kinds of kills, or use this vehicle to get. Oh gosh, just total tedium.
Was horrible
padding.
That was the only progression. If you dropped a 50 bomb in a game of multiplayer, you'd get the same XP. Well, not XP. You'd have the same chance of XP depending on challenges as the person on the bottom of the leaderboard. There was no match XP for over a year, more than 12 months.
Jeez,
truly embarrassing. God. Fully customizable colors. I don't know if either of you were familiar with the whole color controversy that exploded when the game came out. Because basically in Halo, you're always able to like. It used to always be red and blue, which to be fair, it isn't now. But you used to be able to change the color and the accents and the, if you weren't in red versus blue, then you could fully change the color. That was standard forever, really basic thing. Halo Infinite didn't want to do that. What they did was they added this system called the coating system, where you'd earn the coatings. They're in the battle pass, or just buy them the bundles would have a ton of them, and they'd give you a preset color for your character. Like there was no changing it or editing it. It was just a preset color, like a shader basically from Destiny. You get like this color. And you apply it, and it looks a certain way. And their excuse was like, yeah, well, maybe one day we'll just release like a red coating, And people who want red coating, like people who want to be blue, will release a blue coating. There's 100 issues with this. Like I said, first of all, lots of them were locked behind the paid battle pass. Most of them, like literally, let's say there was 100, I'd say about 80 of them were in the store. That's how big of a fraction of them were in the store. If that kind of ratio was in the paid store. And the reason I bring it up is because in the final update, which they called like Operation Infinite, they finally released the ability to make your Spartan white, the white color, which is an embarrassing way to end your support because people were complaining about the color system before the game launched. They announced that shit before the game launched, and everyone was upset. And they were so bad at providing players with the things that they were asking for, screaming for, demanding angrily, that they only added the ability for a certain color on the very last update of the game 4 years later.
Jeez.
Things that straight up never existed. Split screen never existed in this 4 year time frame. They were trying to make it for 2 years. I want to say they were trying to make it for 2 years until they canned it because they decided it wasn't feasible.
Normally I'd say that seems like a extraneous feature, but like for a Halo game, that's an absolute staple. You cannot. Yeah. That's like having a Mario Kart game without splits. You gotta do that.
Similar, yeah, it is. Playable elite, basically in Halo 2, 3, and Reach, you were able to play you could play as a Spartan or an elite because of story implications, like they were allied. And
literally since Halo 2, you could play as an elite.
And the community really liked the fact that you could play as an elite because it tied into the story really well. And people love elites; like they're really cool. It's one of the things that people want all the time. Like it's completely obvious. Like if you worked at Halo Studios, it's the first thing you would know that people are screaming about, like having certain weapons back and being playable elites. It's just a huge deal. They never did it. Halo Infinite lasted for 4 years, and they never did it. And they never did it. It was never added
to your fans.
Another thing added to the list was like a real PvE mode, like multiplayer. Never added. They added one. They did add Firefight, but what it was multiplayer. The multiplayer maps, but they like spawned AI onto the multiplayer maps, like campaign AI enemies. That was the only thing they made in that regard.
For Infinite?
Jeez.
Yeah, in Halo Infinite, it was added. I want to say I want to
Didn't
say
they have some open world thing, or what was
a campaign. Yeah, they had a campaign, but it wasn't.
Oh, that was the campaign.
Yeah, like normally Halo games have like, I think a lot of Halo games have like a third mode. Like in Halo 5, it was the Warzone PvPvE. In the older Halo games, they had Firefight, which is just like, like a horde shooter, which is like classic Halo, because horde shooters remind you of that, like, like Gears of War and zombies and Halo Firefight and stuff. Classic, really iconic like Halo feature. Again, another thing that people just always talk about. This is a common theme with this studio. Like, people always saying this. It's so tone deaf, it's not even funny. Like the stuff we were talking about last week. Never added. They added, like I said, they added the thing where they put some campaign AI into the multiplayer maps and called it Firefight. Doesn't count for me. It was very lazy. They didn't, it didn't feel like real effort went into that. It wasn't the same. Yeah, I think everything that they did add was too little, too late. I took down in my notes. Yeah, it took at least a year for XP to be added, and then I said it took multiple years for new vehicles. I think there was only one new vehicle. That's the Falcon from Halo Reach, which is iconic, amazing vehicle. I think they added that 3 years after launch. That's the fairly recent update. You'll notice in everything I'm saying that the time scale is ridiculous. That's the main point. Like, the time scale on Halo Studios getting something out is, I want to say, like 10 times longer than any other AAA studio. They are so slow at making stuff. It's not even funny. 3 years for the first vehicle to be added. And then I also put, XP, the Falcon, and the color white. The color white, 4 years to release.
To be fair, it's the time, but it's also just the quality of what they're releasing too is just not up to par. I mean, it's like if they were releasing 20 or 30 vehicles or some huge content jump, drop, then I could see Halo fans being, pretty happy with that. But it seems like they're going, the better part of a year in between content drops, and it's pretty insignificant when it does finally come around.
Their content drops that were actually regular, I think they eventually got it down to like 6 months maybe, was the season, like multiplayer seasons. But they were all when I say content drop, I mean just the new battle pass, which would have like, which would have a ton of armor. They made loads of armor, but it's like their entire budget for the game went into armor. They made loads. They made like every armor set from previous Halo games, and they all look great. Whatever. But they spent that, they just, so much armor. There's so much armor. You looked at the battle pass and it'd be just, every page was like, you'll get one piece of armor for this page, and the rest of the armor set is like on the other pages. And in between the other pieces, there's like badges, emblems, fucking color shaders and shit. It was just the worst slap battle pass ever. They would really spread out the stuff that they were dropping just to be as predatory as possible. I hate when games do that shit, like including stickers and emblems and stuff in the battle pass. That's like, you're just openly being greedy. Like, you're padding out the battle pass transparently.
Right. It's like God, what's it called? The Christmas thing where you
like padding the
advent
stocking
calendar.
Oh yeah, an advent calendar. Yeah.
It's like they're doing an advent calendar or something. Like have it thinking that every little bit's gonna make you feel better about the battle pass. Because look at all these items we're giving you, over 30 different items, and like 25 of them is like small bullshit, like emblems and titles and stuff you don't care about. And the stuff you actually want is, those 5 items spread out.
Slop.
Through all the pages.
Padding slop.
It's the textbook definition of slop. They had all the
what I
slop features.
I hate worst about battle passes. They make you work for it too. Like either have it free and you need to work for it to get it, or have it paid and you buy it and you have it. Like, buying the ability to work towards it just seems so
gross,
counterproductive.
Gross.
It does,
really gross.
For people who like play the game all day long and don't have jobs, it's not a problem. But like, a lot of people, they're just like, just give me the fucking skin,
Yeah.
And
that's kind of
like gonna say the limited time skins and stuff. Like, people would buy those like immediately. Like, here's the money, give it to me. But when you don't offer that to them, you're losing out on free money. You already have the skin design. You can give it to them. You're just trying to artificial scarcity.
Yeah. It's basically everything that people were worried about pre-launch came to fruition, basically. Like they'd have the battle pass, which would have like some cool armor, like references, like from old Halo games and stuff. Some of it would be a bit ridiculous, but then the store would just be like demons and shit, and like just like over the top skins, like samurais, and obviously you gotta have the Japanese bundles and shit in every single like obligatory in every single game. Like just yeah, it was very typical of your FPS live service, but I just wanted to say that it felt like with Halo Studios, especially for Halo Infinite, the things that were being screamed down their ear by the community, those things felt like they were bottom of the priority list because some, like I mentioned before, some of them just never happened. Whereas they were still making content like armor and stuff, but the things that like the core Halo community ask for was like that was a second thought. That was like we might get to it, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll add the Falcon, a classic vehicle, but 3 years after launch, there's like 1,000 people playing the game by the time that fucking comes out. Like, holy shit. It feels like their prioritization is they're doing their own thing, that they've got their little Microsoft checklist of things they have to add, and they'll tell us that we're listening to the community, but that's only half true. They're only going to do that if it's convenient for them. That's all. Fan favorite weapons such as like the Magnum, obviously never added. The classic shotgun, never added. The classic assault rifle, the 60 round one that we all miss so much, never added. They added they made skins for the weapons that looked like these. So it's still like the Halo Infinite weapon, but they'd add a skin that made the pistol look a little bit like the Magnum because it was silver. Like they did shit like that. that was the only thing they did in that regard. They did that for a ton of guns. They reskinned a new banished rifle to look like the carbine from Halo 2 and Halo 3. But it was still the same gun. They didn't change any guns. They just made these little nostalgia bait skins, and they were probably in the store. They were probably in the store, to be honest. Yeah.
It's sad that they took the form of skins. Like that's just depressing, and it's like. It's just sad that they had fans literally giving them the cheat codes. Like they had fans literally saying, these are the kinds of weapons we want. These are the kinds of vehicles we want. And their decision was to spend their development resources on making more skins and battle pass slop. Like what the hell? Like,
just hundreds of pieces of armor.
Grief.
Hundreds.
Oh,
like
gosh.
So much armor. Overwhelming amount of fucking armor. Like they can boast about that, but it was malicious. It wasn't like nice. It was malicious. They wanted to have the battle passes full of armor. That's why they did it. What are you gonna say, Clyde?
In a very weird way, it feels like almost a little bit analogous to Nintendo and their treatment of Pokemon, or Game Freak and their development of Pokemon. Like you have fans all over the world trying to give them the cheat codes and trying to give them good ideas and unique ideas, and instead Nintendo's like, what if we make it $70 and $30 day one DLC, and what if we set the whole game in one city? Like it's like people are like, we didn't ask for this. What is going on here?
That's so funny.
It's not quite the
One
same
city.
with Halo, but because it's a live service game, but I think there is some level of ignoring the fans or not listening to what the fans are asking for. That's just, it blows my mind every time I see it.
I don't know if it's incompetent. I don't know if it's being tone deaf or if it's malicious. Because in terms of like the Halo campaign Evolve we talked about last week, it seems like the easy thing to do that would make more money and be more popular is to be extremely faithful. But they didn't anyway, even though that seems like it would be easy for them and good for us. So I just don't understand. Normally, with like really malicious studios, you can just see open like transparently all the time what they're doing. They are like that sometimes, but then other times they're just like, do you know like what this is?
Right.
Like do you actually know what game you remastered? Because this is really, really, really obvious stuff. Like this is not like, you don't have to be like a insane psycho fan to care about this stuff. This is very simple, and you would have been very successful if you did this, and we would have paid for it. It just seems like they are not Halo fans. It seems like they are a corporation who don't care about the games really, and they're just doing their own thing because they think it's going to be best.
And monetization is at the core of it.
Yes,
like
it
a
is.
really aggressive monetization is at the heart of it, and it sucks. Like that's heartbreaking. I want to ask Sean, like when it comes to like me and Nintendo games, I pretty much have made peace with the fact that like JPEG balconies are the future of Pokemon. Like I'm never gonna get the adult Pokemon game I want, so I've kind of made peace with that. Is there a part of your mind that like hopes 343 is gonna like turn around and like Halo will have its return to its glory days, or are you just completely the ship has sailed and we're both like the copium is gone?
It's sailed. They had 3 chances to make like a nice, faithful Halo game. Halo 4, I know a lot of people really enjoyed the story in it, and it does have its strengths, but it's not a very good game. It's probably their most polished one they've made, but people, in hindsight, people really don't like it. It completely departed from the original trilogy in that kind of same tone deaf sense of like, why are we doing this? And that was in 2012. So it's like after so much time, I get jaded. And then in 2015, they made Halo 5, probably the worst regarded game in the whole franchise for being like because this is another note I have that Microsoft are only trend chasers. It's the only thing they do. It's literally the singular only thing they do. They don't care about anything else. Halo 4 was supposed to look like COD Modern Warfare, and it released in 2012, a few years after those games were really popular. They hired COD devs. To try and do it.
Jeez.
They tried to make it look like COD as much as possible. They put like a brown and grey filter over the game. They added sprint, obviously. And they added all these COD things. They tried to make they put kill streaks in the multiplayer. They put you'd get a certain amount of kills in the multiplayer and you'd get airdrops and stuff. They added kill streaks. Halo 5 was the jetpack game in 2015. You know, the game when like Advanced Warfare and stuff were kicking off. It's all they do. It's the only thing they know how to do. They survey the industry, and they make a little like a mind chart of what's popular, and they just tell the developers
grappling hooks.
They tell the developers to do that. Halo Infinite 2021, open world grappling hook. Take back the advanced movement, because people don't do the advanced movement anymore. That's got like a bad name now. Take back the advanced movement. Grapple hook, open world. Battle Pass live service multiplayer. It's insane how much they chase trends. They haven't had an original idea since like 2011. It's terrible.
That's sad.
Yeah. So to answer your question, to answer your question properly, Clyde, I've been jaded on them for so long that I do not have faith anymore. And if it did happen, if they did somehow pull off a really nice game, I'd be like, why did it take so long? You didn't have to do this. You should have been doing this a long time ago.
You always wanted an adult Pokemon game, but didn't you get that with
Palworld?
Palworld, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Palworld.
Then they sued Palworld into oblivion. They're like, yeah, can't have this be out there, but yeah, I feel for you, Sean. I know, to see a franchise you love, that you grew up with, you love the lore, you have the Nerf guns, you are a true fan.
I'm a huge Halo fan since day one. I was a baby playing that shit, so I'll always care like about the name and stuff. But in terms of, I'm definitely at my lowest level of interest, even though it's all, like I said, it's always going to be there. If they made a good game now or a good project, it would be the equivalent of throwing shit at the wall until it sticks, and the wall would be covered in shit. Well, the floor would be covered in shit, I should say. Yeah, that's what it would feel like if they made a good game. You probably
definitely lost their way.
You shouldn't have had this many chances. You really should have changed. Something really should have changed systematically about 6 or 7 years ago, in my opinion. Yeah. So that puts a nail in that one quite nicely. I'm done ranting about Halo Infinite. It's get
it out, let it out.
There's lots of things I love about the game. The campaign has some positives to it, even though it looks like Minecraft combined with Roblox. It's got a very fun. It's got Halo Studios' probably most fun gameplay loop, just because they tried to make it as classic as possible. Which is satisfying. It might be one of my favorite Halos to play. Like shooting the Banished is a fun time. But everything else about the game is just feels so manufactured, so corporate, so manufactured, so predatory in some places. that it's hard to say that you like the game. It's definitely going to go down as one of those forgettable Halo games that I wish probably went down a lot differently.
And it's a shame. It doesn't have to be like this. They're a really, really valuable studio with tons of talent and all the resources in the world. Like, I mean, they don't have to be producing slop. They could be making, industry leading experiences. Yeah, I think about Arc Raiders. I think about Peter's Wallpaper and the studios that are churning out amazing next gen player interaction moments. And it's crazy to me that we're in a timeline where studios, like Halo and Bungie 343, they had this amazing IP. They had all the fan love in the world, and they squandered it. Like they threw it in a dumpster, and they burned the dumpster. And it's like, why did y'all do this? I don't know. It's
people still buy the dumpster.
That's true. That's fair. And people buy Pokemon
they'll still
too,
buy the dumpster.
Yeah,
just write Halo or Pokemon on the dumpster, and they'll say, "Look, it's new. You don't have this flaming dumpster yet."
Yeah, Arc Raiders makes Halo Infinite look like a $5 Steam early access indie game made by one guy. Seriously, it does. Truly, yeah. And it's that studio's second release. I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild what they're up to.
What were Shroud's comments you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, we can. Let me say quickly that I just forgotten what I was gonna fucking say. No, it's completely gone. My mind went completely blank. I was gonna say something about Arc Raiders. That's it. Did you play much EA Battlefront 2?
Yeah,
the new one, because me and my friends noticed that Arc Raiders, the movement and the animations in third person are exactly the same as EA's Battlefront 2. So I did a little Googling. They hired a lot of the ex-DICE devs, so that is real. That's we weren't just like, it wasn't a coincidence. Nice. Like they really did.
Cool. Well spotted, Sean.
Yeah, because we noticed that the way it you're like playing as the heroes like Han Solo and shit. The way you run around with the pistol animation like in the air, it's the same. Like it's really similar, and the way the crosshairs the same as well. And when you shoot, it feels similar. And yeah, that was a correct comparison to make.
It does. Wow, that is good.
Yeah,
the rolling especially.
That was a good spot, mainly from Sam. He noticed it first because he loves Battlefront 2. He's like, wait a minute, I recognize this, and I was like, oh shit, it's basically got it basically has the very vague framework of EA's Battlefront 2 underneath there somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's wild that you and Sam were able to sense that DNA. That is pretty cool. Shout out to Sam. Great, well spotted. That's amazing. You're like, let's Google this, and you find, oh yeah, there's Battlefront devs in here. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Shroud stuff with Arc Raiders? I mean, it's not necessarily about Shroud, really, but basically,
it's just what he said.
I mean, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the story.
From what I understand, from what I heard, he made the comment that that he thought it should be Game of the Year over like Expedition 33. Is that the comment you're talking about?
That's around about what he said. Yeah, he was saying specifically that he thinks Arc Raiders is probably Game of the Year, but more so his point was that multiplayer games never get considered. He said he brought up the fact that one hasn't won since 2016. I don't know what that is off the top. I know Overwatch won one, but that was way before 2016. So off the top of my head, I don't know what that 2016 winner was. But yeah, his overarching point is that multiplayer games aren't considered very often, which is true. Although I will say, Game Awards does have a multiplayer category, which Helldivers 2 won last year. Although, obviously, I think what he's referring to is the actual big deal, like, Game of the Year award, which is the thing that gets most of the attention. I think that's what he's referring to. So, yeah, I mean...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he actually said it.
Okay, my bad. I thought Overwatch was way earlier than that.
I'm not sure if it's something he said or if it was just a comment on one of his videos, but at least I know he's aware of it, that even the Arc Raiders community agrees that Expedition 33 is probably going to win. And I think no matter how much they love the game, it has a lot to do with just how, I remember what he said. He said Expedition 33 was niche. And I think it's the opposite. I think
Arc Raiders is
really niche.
Yeah, I think he's 180
Extraction
opposite.
shooter is like a really small, narrow genre of an already narrow, it's FPS shooter that's, PvP, VE, and it's extraction versus like an RPG that basically everyone and your mother would understand how to play, and it doesn't take too much reaction or stuff. Sure, they have the parry system, but someone proved that you can beat the game without it. So as far as being approachable, I do love Arc Raiders, but I agree, just from what I've heard about Expedition 33, it seems like it would easily take Game of the Year, and I feel like it deserves it too.
I like Expedition 33 a lot. I'm a little bit less hyped about it than most of the population seems to be. My personal Game of the Year vote. Oh shit, my bad. My personal Game of the Year vote is Kingdom Come 2. That game blew my fucking socks off this year. But Expedition 33, I like it a lot. I see some people calling it like Game of the Generation and stuff, and I'm like, I really don't know. Like, it's really good at what it does, but at the same time, it's a pretty like it's quite a.
I mean, what if you said that about the first game?
What do you mean?
And the first Kingdom Come Deliverance. What if you said that about that game? Then you'd be wrong about already. It's just such a strong statement to make about something. Yeah, I see what you mean. It kind of does what it sets to accomplish, and it doesn't really go too far beyond that.
That's enough to say my thing with it. That's my thing. Like, some people act like it's like this genius RPG, or like that it's like doing something crazy, which, like, I just think it's more one note than other people seem to think. It doesn't really have any like exploration in it. You can kind of go off the beaten path sometimes, but it usually just runs into like a boss fight or some extra fights, which is fine. But comparing it to Kingdom Come 2, it's like Kingdom Come 2 is doing like 100 different things, and it's doing most of them fairly well. Expedition 33 has a good story. I don't love the story as much as most people do, but I liked it. It has a strong story. It kept me attached throughout the whole playthrough. And the turn-based combat, I'm not familiar with any other turn-based games, at least not that I can remember. So I don't know what to compare it to. But I thought it was fun. I liked it, but it didn't scream like this game is doing one thing and it's amazing. I was like, this game's doing one thing and it was very fun. Like, it was enjoyable. Did it like really stick with me, the experience? No, I don't think so. And this might be just a Sean skill issue. Not necessarily skill, but like my brain skill, my understanding of things. But it didn't hit me in the way that it hit most people. I don't want to come across like I don't like it. I did. I liked it more than one of my friends.
Sean, I want to +1 pretty much everything you just said. Like, I mean, I play a lot of RPGs. I play, I grew up on Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. I play Western RPGs. I play Japanese RPGs. I've gotten into, Chinese-made games in the last 6 months, and we're currently chowing through Wu Chang, Fallen Feather. I play a lot of RPGs, and I also agree that a lot of the love and affinity for Expedition 33 overshadows the spaghetti in that game. There's a lot of spaghetti in that game.
We are so canceled. We're so canceled.
We may be canceled, but I think your gut screaming at you that KCD2 is a stronger game. I think that's just objectively true. I think that's
canceled.
I think that is just.
Wrap it up, boys.
We may be canceled for saying that, but like, KCD2, the astonishing thing about those games is that it takes you to medieval Bohemia, and it makes you fall in love with these characters without any magical or fantastical elements. There's no dragons, there's no magic, there's no wizards, and you will hate the villain by the end of the game. You will love Henry by the end of the game, and it's pretty impressive. It's pretty amazing just how immersed into that world and the food and the artistry and the architecture. It's a pretty amazing experience, and I think those games are remarkable. And I don't know. I felt the same way about Expedition 33. It had some great voice talent.
Amazing voice talent.
The graphics. Yeah, it had amazing voice talent, but
nice graphics.
Like, is that? I mean, KCD2 had great voice talent too. I mean, yes, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I find that KCD2 is not just historical fiction done superbly, but it is done respectfully. Like, people are like, "Oh my gosh, Expedition 33 really puts France on the map," and I'm like, honestly, I think it's a little distasteful. If I'm being honest with you, like, the way they represented France in Expedition 33 is the Eiffel Tower. They had the Eiffel Tower in the game. They had French outfits where the characters were holding baguettes, and you fight mimes. You fight mimes in Expedition 33. Like, and I was like, this
Clyde's
is
cancelled.
like, I'm probably canceled. I'm probably canceled, but I'm not saying the game is trash. I just think that there are better, more nuanced ways to represent France on the global scale than just mimes and baguettes. Like, I don't know. I find that to be, I don't know. KCD2 is a remarkable game, and the first game is a remarkable game, and I find those games to be much more respectful of their source material than just reducing that culture to just one or two tokens. I find that Expedition 33 really reduces France to just one or two tokens, and I felt kind of, I don't know, a little bit gross playing it sometimes, thinking like, dang, like this is France on the global scale, and y'all are really gonna bring out the baguette outfits. I guess they're doing that. I don't know. It kind of bummed me out.
That's interesting. I never heard that. I never heard it from that perspective before. That's definitely interesting to hear. I
do want to go back to the original point that I Peter mentioned this as well, and when he outlined this, and I think this is true. I think there is something true about what Shroud has said, which is that multiplayer games are really overlooked for Game of the Year. Like, they really are just kind of dismissed and brushed off. And I think that sentiment is a fair one. I think that is a fair, thing to say. Like, hey, why is Arc Raiders getting totally, skipped on this? Like, it is a remarkable game, and the community is clearly losing their minds about it and having fun. And the clips I've seen, I mean, the betrayals I've seen, the friendships that are forged and betrayed in moments in Arc Raiders, like, it is a shame. I think there is something valid and truthful to what Shroud is saying, that like these multiplayer games just really get passed by, and the Game of the Year panelists just kind of they don't deem them in the same tier or worthiness as like these other single player games. That's kind of weird. That is kind of a interesting observation.
It's very interesting, and it's something that I've thought about in the past as well, but like never really mentioned it, at least on here. It is weird that the last multiplayer game to win a Game of the Year was in 2016, which I assume the awards were like in its infancy back then, because I couldn't imagine Overwatch or Overwatch 2 winning that shit now. That must have been a completely different environment for that to happen, because Overwatch 1 is fucking toxic. But yeah, it's really interesting. I like the idea that the developers who put blood, sweat, and tears into Arc Raiders should know that they have a chance of winning Game of the Year, and not. I don't want them to be feeling that they don't have a chance just because the game is multiplayer, if that makes sense. Like, they should know they have a chance. Like, there's a lot of insanely cool stuff in Arc Raiders, like art, the entire setting, the gunplay, like you said, the way the socializing works in the game. That's artistic expression, like whether you like it or not. Like, whether you're a PvP person or not, that's still artistic expression, and someone put a ton of time into it, and they should know that there's a chance of winning Game of the Year. They shouldn't be completely written off because the game is multiplayer. That's what.
I just looked at the nominations. The nominations from 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, not a single Game of the Year nomination for a multiplayer game. Every single game in those last 4 years was a single player experience. That's saying something. I mean, that's pretty wild that multiplayer games are getting dismissed for that category. And I think that's kind of bogus. That is kind of an interesting observation. I'd never heard that called out before.
Yeah, I think Shroud was on to something with that point. He definitely was. Because there's a lot of people out there who only play multiplayer games. In fact, probably millions and millions of people. They're very popular. So,
but Sean, you're right though, man. If Expedition 33 gets Game of the Year, I think we riot. I think you and I go to KCD2 and you have our swords, and this is the real Game of the Year right here.
I'm not gonna riot, because that's not a riot I will win. It will be a one-man riot versus hundreds of thousands of people. That's what would happen. That is fair. So I'm gonna hide away in my room and cry and quietly, and I'm gonna go, "Yay, Expedition 33!" Now, in all seriousness, though, if they win, which I think they probably will, because it's the only one that people are like suggesting, it's the only game, really. If they do, that's cool, because I believe they're a small team, and obviously, like you said, France representation, whether that's a bit hit or miss, like you said, but being like a unique French game, the fact it's from a small team, the fact it's single player with no slop. The fact it's
Yeah,
not got
yeah.
microtransactions and stuff. This is a big win for like the industry. Like whether you love Expedition 33 or not, it's a really good game to win because it was pure artistic expression, beautiful voice acting, beautiful music, beautiful visuals, really cool concept for a story and a world. So that's a win that I'm completely okay with. I'm completely. It will hurt for Kingdom Come 2, but Kingdom Come it's just an award at the end of the day. Kingdom Come 2 is not going to change or be harmed by this.
Yeah, and their sales were outstanding, so nothing to cry about for them.
Nothing
but
you're
right, and yeah, Expedition 33 is a great game. I have my own like individual gripes with it, but and I would love to see KCD2 get its flowers. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I think right now, I was looking at bookies odds, and all the betting odds are on Expedition 33. It's like overwhelmingly everyone is expecting Expedition 33.
It's the only game I really hear people like slate for it. To be honest, I hear a couple of people say Kingdom Come 2, but outnumbered majorly.
I hear people say Silk Song every now and then. They'll be like, Silk Song. I'm like, hey, there's no way it's going to win, but I'm glad that people are going to bat for it. But man, it'll be interesting to see where it shakes out. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody I've seen talk about Arc Raiders that's played Arc Raiders really enjoys it. And it is kind of a shame that it has been relegated to this, like, that's a multiplayer game. A multiplayer game can't be artistic. You just fart on each other and backstab each other. Like, what's it going to take for a multiplayer game to break through and actually get a nomination in that category? I don't know. It's interesting.
It is very interesting. Can you imagine the scenes, Peter, in Arc Raiders lobbies if it won Game of the Year? There would be every lobby would be like a screaming party. Every single lobby. That would be funny to see just for that. I think people would be extremely happy.
Would be interesting, yeah.
In the lobbies if it won Game of the Year.
Just a dance lobby.
Yeah.
Everyone just grouping around having a dance off.
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah, I don't think it happened though.
No,
I do love it.
I don't think so. Oh well, it's okay. Like I said, it's just an award at the end of the day. They're run by Jeff Keighley. They're probably corrupt anyway. Because Astrobot won. so who cares? They're corrupt anyway. That's how I'm gonna cope. Right. Okay, should we talk about I think this is mainly for me and Peter. I'm sorry, Clyde. It won't be too long. But there's some Mass Effect TV show news, which, you can chip in if you want. You want to hear the Mass Effect TV show news, Clyde?
I'm so excited. I know it's not going to star the main character. It's going to be a different story from that.
The news.
But,
you know the news. Yeah. That's the news.
I know the news. Trust me, Taylor's a huge Mass Effect fan. He audibly said, "No Garrus on my TV screen." No Garrus. So trust me, yeah. So I hear the news through the grapevine.
Yeah, I was messaging Peter the other day, and I was basically just saying all hype killed, pretty much, because I feel like, could be wrong, could still be good. Andor was something that people said was going to be shit and boring when it was slated to come out, and now it's like the best TV show of all time. So stuff like this happens, but I really worry that it's just going to be sci-fi show vaguely set in Mass Effect, but they're going to use like like generic fucking props and shit in it, like the Halo TV show and stuff. Yeah.
Oh no!
It's worrying news.
Do not do the Halo TV show comparison.
I'm not mentioning it. I mention it every episode. We're stopping this now. Halo TV show, not mentioning it again. Okay. Yeah, Mass Effect TV show is not gonna be based on Shepard or his/her crew.
Already immediately terrible.
Already immediately
I know it's not worth my time.
That was so exciting. Yeah. I was like fan casting. I was like fan casting and shit as well, like in my head. Like, who's gonna do this? Who's gonna voice Garrus? Like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna voice Rex? Oh my god.
So many memorable characters that just will never see the light of day because they're from a different time.
No, they won't.
What a waste. Absolute waste.
Have either of you ever seen the CW Arrow TV show?
Oh, yeah, bro.
Clyde.
You have failed this city.
My favorite fan cast is, what's his name? Is it Oliver? Well, that's his character's name, right? What's the actor's name?
Oh, gosh.
Fuck.
The guy who plays Oliver Queen.
He is Commander Shepard. He is the male, like the male base model for Commander Shepard is identical to him. It's very funny, and I would have seen that.
Stephen Amell.
That's his name. If he buffed up, well, I mean, he's buff anyway. But Captain Shepard in the game,
he's already pretty buff.
Captain Shepard in the games is pretty big. Yeah, and he kept that clean buzz cut. He would look a lot like the base model for Commander Shepard. So, I didn't think that was going to happen anyway, but
Such a amazing story. So many great turns, so many great little mini arcs, branches, and
And
we'll never
season
see the
2
light of
is
day.
amazing. I mean, season 2 of Arrow is so good. I agree, Peter. I'm just trolling you. I know you were talking about Mass Effect. I'm like, I had to turn that into an Arrow
I
love
was so
moment.
confused.
But no, please, yeah. I'm trying to troll for a moment.
Season
I
2 of
apologize.
Mass Effect. What?
Season,
Like,
I mean,
what?
you mean Mass Effect 2? Well, it's funny you mention that actually, because I was thinking like Mass Effect Trilogy works so well in a seasonal format because you can obviously just have each game be a season, but because of the amount of talking and content in each game, you can really, really easily fit that into like a 10, 15 episode TV show. It would work very well.
And each of the games seamlessly goes into the next game.
Yes.
Like there's no like, oh, and then all this stuff happened in the middle. It's like, no, it's like it ended and now you start and you got your same crew. All the decisions you made in the previous game are still, you're in the same universe. It was so flawless. And like it all felt like one big, giant, huge, massive story. And I thought, you know, like, well, just like any game to movie thing, it's like it's what the game is that made it, you know, popular in the first place. Why would you ditch that for some new shit? Like, you're not going to make any of the fans happy because they know you're not going to involve any of the original writers. You're not going to follow anything. Like,
No.
I can't think of any game to movie that actually tried to just recreate it, you know, as a movie and not try to do their own bullshit, make these new OC characters, you know. I feel like that's why a lot of them failed. They just tried to go off the rails too much, and they're never learning their lesson, are they?
No, there were so many specific like moments from the games that I was so excited to see in live action, like during the Genophage spoiler, and like there's the opening of Mass Effect 2, which looks incredible in the game as it is, where Shepard and his crew are attacked randomly out of nowhere, huge, really dramatic fight where it seems that loads of people are dying. Shepard actually does die, but then is reincarnated, spoiler, by a suspicious kind of ominous, maybe evil corporate space corporation. He's been revived by those to complete a mission. That's an insane pilot for a season 2. I was so looking forward to seeing these episodes, and I'm so upset that we won't see that. We're gonna see new stuff, which could be good, like I said.
So much great, absolutely killer.
It was right there. You had it in your. We were this close.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the production studio? Is it Amazon money or who's the money funding this?
Amazon.
Oh, it is Amazon.
I think it's on Prime.
They do throw money at some of these shows. I mean, there's a chance. It's definitely not like a good chance, but there is a chance it could be good.
No, it's not over at all. It absolutely could be good.
Yeah.
Things like this do happen.
It's a possibility. It's just so slim.
But even if it is good, I'll still feel like I want to see the trilogy on TV. Like I'll still feel like I need to see that.
Can you imagine if they never made the Lord of the Rings movie and they just went straight to the Wheels of Power or whatever the fuck it's called?
What the fuck is Wheels of Power? That sounds like a car movie. That sounds like a fucking Hot Wheels movie.
Rings of Power, whatever. I think I was confusing the
Wheels of
the Game of Thrones one. Whatever it was.
Not Wheels of Power. Wheels of Power is the sequel to Cars 3.
I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I never watched it though.
I know what you meant, Peter.
Imagine if they did the Lord of the Rings sequel TV bullshit.
Yeah, it's Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of the movies, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, I was confusing the Wheel of Time Game of Thrones one with the Rings of Power, both of which I didn't see, so they might as well exist as one anomalous mass.
Yeah, same. I also haven't seen either.
Yeah. So whatever. But yeah, imagine that. Like people are like, oh, the Lord of the books are so good. I can't wait to see all these scenes. And they're like, no, but they're these new characters. You know, this is like, 3,000 years before or whatever. Like people would hate that shit, and they kind of do. So
yeah,
not excited at all for it.
I wasn't a huge Lord of the Rings fan when those movies originally came out. Did people say that about The Hobbit? Like, were they like, why are you making Lord of the Rings? There's like you should be making the Hobbit movies. That's the real start.
No.
Like, Did they say that when the original Lord of the Rings came out?
No one said that.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, those movies were just awesome. So.
But well, when The Hobbit came out, there were people who were like, "Oh, a prequel? What is this crap?" You know, like,
Right.
"Oh, it's the you guys don't know, do you?" You know.
Like,
I have to say really quickly, because Lord of the Rings came up, I saw the funniest comment on Reddit the other day. I was in the Cyberpunk subreddit, and someone asked the question like, "Yo, when Jackie's dying, why don't they just back up his consciousness on the chip with Johnny Silverhand?" And then someone replied, it was the funniest reply I'd ever seen. They were like, "Why don't they just ride the Eagles to Makoshi?" and like it makes no sense at all. But I just replied to that with like a Bill and Ted like, "Whoa, Jif!" It was sorry, it was really really dumb. But the Eagles came up, so I had to give that a shout out. Whoever wrote that comment.
That Cyberpunk comment makes no sense anyway. You can't just save someone onto the chip. I'm pretty sure Johnny got put on a chip through an extremely extensive, torturous process.
Right.
The soul killer or whatever it was fucking called. So yeah.
Yeah. I loved, why didn't they ride the Eagles to Makoshi?
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. I was like, what is this timeline we're on? But yeah, I agree. It's like they have this awesome source material from Mass Effect. Why not like give the people what they want? You know, people are excited to see these characters and these relationships and these stories, but yeah, they're going in a new direction. That's definitely interesting. I was actually thinking while we were talking earlier about Halo, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to go down this line, but I was thinking. Welcome back, Sean.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, Peter. I was thinking about World of Warcraft. Honestly, not that I think Halo, not that World of Warcraft has been as mistreated as 343 or Bungie have done to Halo, but I just think there's an interesting comparison there of like how the game has changed so much and the audience has shifted so much for World of Warcraft. I didn't want to go into that because it seemed like that would have been a huge conversation for us. We had a lot to say. I have a lot to say on it, but the thought did cross my mind, or the thought did cross my mind that like Blizzard is a studio also comes under fire for low quality releases. Like, you know, some of their games and some of their content that comes out is seen as, you know, pretty bad. So it's interesting. I think there was an interesting discussion to be had there too, but I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole there, but I just wanted to say that the thought did cross my mind about Blizzard. Blizzard came up in my brain.
While I was on my break, I heard like a loud crashing noise outside. And so then I looked out the window behind me, and there was just a chest of drawers like smashed in my drive, like in between the driveway, like where you drive the gap where you drive the car. I was like, "What the fuck?" So I went outside, and yeah, it's literally just a smashed chest of drawers. No one in sight. I think maybe someone left outside to be taken, but then someone came along and like kicked it. I don't know what happened. But then I was like throwing it all out of the way, and then a guy walked past me with like 2 cans of beer, 1 can of beer in each hand. Open.
There's your culprit.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you both about timeless or classic games. So some examples being like Minecraft or like World of Warcraft, games like that. Maybe like, you know, Terraria or whatever. Like these games that people still play or talk about all the time. Why do you think that is? I have a couple of I have some points in my notes and stuff. I just think it's an interesting topic because you'll have like these huge AAA, like huge budget games that will be forgotten in like a year's time. It happens all the time, especially with games that have like frequent release cycles and stuff. So what is different about like Super Mario Bros on the DS? What is different about like Halo Combat Evolved? What's different about Minecraft? Why are these games like so popular? Yeah, like decades after their release, and why are they talked about all the time? What's the difference? Like, what is this? What gives them the
I know the
sticking
answer.
power? Go ahead.
I know the answer. It's because they're so good.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
That's it. Wrap it up.
All
right. Thanks for watching.
I mean, in summary, that is kind of it. In summary, that is kind of it. But it's obviously it goes deeper than this. Clyde? Any comments?
My thought, I thought about this because I saw it on the topic listing and I put my brain cells on this. And I'll be honest with you, I think for me, a game is timeless to me if it has a certain atmosphere or mood, or it takes me back to a feeling that I had when I first played it. the game, like when I was thinking to myself, like what games do I consider truly timeless? Like games that I would recommend to anybody, pretty much anybody or any gamers that without reservation. The first game that came to my mind, and this is probably a really bad choice, but was honestly Bloodborne. Like I freaking love
Oh,
Bloodborne. Bloodborne is one of my favorite games. Like it's this dark, grim, gothic setting. It's this challenging, brutal, FromSoft, Dark Souls-esque game, and I just love that game, and I love how dreary it feels. I can spend 2 minutes in that game in Yarnum and feel like I am back, like experiencing that game for the first time again. And that's kind of what gets my brain going when I think of timeless games. But I mean, yeah, it's such a it's such an interesting question. I guess Peter and Sean, what are the games that come to mind for y'all when someone has like what's a timeless game to you? Like give me an example in your
Ooh.
mind of a timeless game.
Example.
I go back to the old classics,
Back in my day.
FPSs. I think like Doom, Quake, and Half-Life. And yes, Halo. Games like that are just like revolutionary.
So that would
like,
be
everyone plays them. Everyone knows about them. Even if you never played them, you know what they are. You know.
You say the sticking point for
just so
those
big.
is innovation.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I think that's a big factor.
It is.
That a lot of these have, and even though you can point to a lot of games that copied from stuff, and they almost feel old now. That so many games copied from them. It's kind of like if you ever watch those old black and white movies or something from like the 40s or stuff, and they do a lot of jokes and gags and stuff that are like dad jokes, and it's like the reason is because those jokes got so popular at the time that like now they're just run of the mill jokes for us, like knock jokes and stuff like that. Like they were so big back then that everybody knew them, everybody did them, and now they're played out to death, right? And like I feel like a lot of games are like that now. Like we forget that some of these games were like the first open world games, the first to have like RPGs, first to have all this stuff that now is in like all these games, right?
Yes.
So it was kind of like GoldenEye was like revolutionary for being FPS on a console, right? And opened so many doors.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye absolutely gets the definition of timeless. I was thinking while you're talking, you mentioned Half-Life. Portal would absolutely make my list. Portal is absolutely a timeless game.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
like Sean, what are some games that come to mind for you for like what meets the criteria of a timeless game?
So while I was thinking about this, I came up with a 4-tier checklist of things that contribute to a game being a timeless game or a classic game. And any one of these factors can make for a classic game, but the more of them, or the more of these 4 things that are ticked, the higher the likelihood of a classic game. And they are as follows. First one is what Peter got into, unique innovation. So GoldenEye being the first console FPS, Doom being the first like good PC FPS, things like that. The second checkbox being interesting art / visual design / theme. This alone can make this happen. Some examples I put down are Ghost of Tsushima, Cuphead, Super Hot. Just off the way Super Hot looks, you can recognize it at a glance. Outer Wilds, with its whole theme and its aesthetic. These are games that are timeless because, in terms of like Tsushima and Outer Wilds, are timeless for a lot of reasons. But a big contributing factor is that you can tell what game it is by looking at it, is what I'm trying to say.
Cuphead is a great one. Cuphead is a really good one.
That's like the way that game looks is like, that's Cuphead. That's a very, the kind of paper drawn aesthetic they went for is like unmistakable. I know game tried to rip it off now, but like, I mean, Cuphead's the first one that'll come to your head. You kind of get what I'm saying. The third one is interesting or compelling gameplay loop. Extremely so. This is one that can do it by itself. Examples: Risk of Rain 2, Monster Hunter. I know that's in multiple games, but the formula is what I'm talking about. Is timeless. Satisfactory I put down because that's like my favorite of those like factory grinding. I forget the name of the genre. like those games. And then I put like Diablo as well, because Diablo was like a real, I don't know if the first, but one of the first really popular dungeon crawlers, like loot dungeon crawlers. And then I also put down Minecraft in its survival mode. I think is a really addictive gameplay loop. So Minecraft is ticking. You can see a theme here that Minecraft's ticking more than one box, which I said, like the games that tick, but the more boxes you tick, the higher chance you are. And Minecraft is on a bit of a roll here. And then captivating story is the fourth one. That's those are my four. It's innovation, art style, gameplay loop, and story. Those are the four. So some examples of games that are mainly iconic because of the story: Last of Us, Red Dead 2, Mass Effect, Disco Elysium, Silent Hill 2. These are games that are good in other areas, but I think they are classics and timeless because of their story elements. That's my answer, basically. I came up with a checklist, and I think in terms of most games that are timeless classics, that lines up. I think I'm onto something with that.
+1. I think that I think all the examples you went through speak to me, and I would agree those are pretty much timeless games. If not for the criteria you listed, then for multiple of the criteria. Interestingly, when I think about games like Kingdom Come Deliverance or Red Dead, I also wonder if scale might be a criteria as well, because
Ooh, yeah.
sometimes the scale, like Elden Ring, that may also, Breath of the Wild, scale really does seem to be a factor in modern
It
gaming and,
is,
and where
yeah.
we're at. Um, yeah, Cuphead's such a great example of like you just know what it is by looking at it. But I mean, Half Life, and it's just, yeah, it's wild that so many games these days are, they feel more like products. They feel more like commercialized products that are just meant to be played and consumed very quickly, and they don't have that lasting staying power. They don't, the developers themselves aren't pushing the games
Yes.
artistically. Over the break, I was actually talking to Peter about this. I was talking to him about Outer Worlds 2, and I think it's a fine game. I think it's even probably a good game, but Obsidian hasn't really pushed themselves artistically. They haven't really pushed themselves technically. And as a result, I would say the game is weaker than, say, like Cyberpunk 2077. Even though Cyberpunk 2077 has a lot of problems, the one thing you can't say about CD Projekt Red is that they don't try. They are throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. They're throwing, same with Witcher 3. You know, they're pushing gaming forward, and I think that's to be applauded. But uh, yeah, Outer Worlds 2 would not make my list of like timeless games. Outer Worlds 1 wouldn't make my list of timeless games because it doesn't really go for anything. It is perfectly fine. It's inoffensive. It's funny. But yeah, I think this is an important discussion, and I think if developers are making a game today, they should be asking themselves the question of like, are we really pushing ourselves? Are we really making something remarkable here, or are we just making more slop for the mainstream commercialized products? And I'm not saying Outer Worlds 2 is pure slop. I think there is some slop and padding in it. I'm not saying it's pure slop, but I don't know. I'm probably just meandering here, but
No,
I
I
think
get
this
you.
is an important conversation.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I hate to oversimplify it like I started out, but I think it's just the absolute quality of the games is just like the gameplay is just completely solid. Um, the mechanics are down pat. Like the variety of the gameplay that it offers. Obviously, stuff like Sean was talking about, like the story and the art and stuff. But I think like just the absolute pristine quality of all these, the way they gel together, like it just makes so great cohesion. And I'll even bring up Minecraft again. Like, I don't love it as much as some people do, but I can absolutely understand how great it is, just because like everything just vibes together. The music, the visuals, the crafting system they have, all the different enemies and stuff. It really feels like you're in this little world in your computer, and there's so much interaction between all the objects. You can really tell the love and the crafting put into these games. it's what makes them memorable is a lot of this stuff like we were talking about that are innovation or innovative at the time, and sometimes even it's something that isn't innovative, but they've just put such a huge amount of care into it that they almost make it feel new, you know?
Like Arc Raiders, because Arc Raiders is not innovating,
like
but
Arc
it is at the
Raiders is
same
great.
time.
Like extraction shooters aren't new. There's a lot of systems in there that aren't new. You know, shields and lootable items and crafting and all this stuff, but like they're put together in this new way that just feels new, and there's so much more depth that uh, emergent like community that comes from it. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, I would
think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's something Arc Raiders hits on for me that other games haven't, is like the social aspect of it. Obviously, only in solos, really. But the game hasn't really been like that I've played before. Maybe I've been playing the wrong games, but it's pretty cool the way the PvPvE is actually working, and it's not just PvP with some robots.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
In the world,
it's like it's not even forced or anything. It's just the people deciding themselves what kind of game they want to play.
In the realm of chess, when because almost every game of chess ever has been indexed, and every known move that's ever been played from any game has been played, they all go into a database. And whenever there's a tournament going on and two players are playing, and they get off a known branch, they get to a brand new move. They call that a novelty. In the world of chess, it's called a novelty. It's a new game, essentially. Some chess commentators even say we are now seeing a new game of chess that has never been played before or never been indexed before. And I think this is true in gaming, that novelties in gaming are extremely rare. They're very, very rare. Portal was a novelty. We had never seen a game like Portal before.
I should have written Portal down. I feel so stupid for not writing Portal down. It's like one of the most famous games of all time and the most innovative. That Portal idea was so genius.
But this speaks to what Peter was saying, which is that I think novelties in gaming are extremely rare. So, we should celebrate the games that just do things really well, like Arc Raiders. And they combine a lot of systems and they do them very, very well and create really compelling experiences. I mean, I'm not saying we don't celebrate novelties. I think the Portals of the world or the Dark Souls of the world should be celebrated, but there's only one of those every 10, 20, 30 years. It's just quality has to count for something in this conversation. And I think it's good to see, studios creating games like Arc Raiders that people are connecting with and having fun with and making incredibly ridiculous memories, playing. It's just, it's going to be interesting to see what will be considered timeless, 10 years from now and 20 years from now.
Yeah. And I'll bring up World of Warcraft, because like before it happened, there was MMOs, there was RuneScape, there was Ultima Online, there was EverQuest. Like there was, it wasn't the first MMO, but like it borrowed so much from these other games, though.
So much good stuff
so much great stuff that like it was just a mix. It's like, you take all these great dishes you like and you take the best ingredients from each and you mash it together, and it's like it's ingredients you're completely familiar with, but then suddenly you're putting peanut butter together and jelly together and you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is better than either of them alone. And that's how WoW turned into something just so huge. And sure, there's a new RuneScape, but people don't play that as much over the old one, I believe. And,
no, I heard that died out.
EverQuest EverQuest kind of fell off, and like Ultima Online disappeared as well. But WoW is still there, and love it or hate it, it's still running and it's still making expansions and people are playing, and it's and it just goes to show if you nail it, the first time, then you kind of make a name for yourself, and you'll start a trend in the genre, or you can create a genre. Some of these are genre defining games, and then they're the very first to do it, and sometimes just that alone is significant enough to be memorable and worthwhile.
there's a really funny story that Tim Schafer shares about his game Psychonauts. I don't know if y'all have ever played it or if you know of Psychonauts.
I've heard of it. I'm familiar.
Amazing games. Both Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2 are great. The very quick TLDR of the game is you play as a young boy who goes into the minds of other people and he sees what their inner world is like and he goes into their minds. Tim Schafer was interviewed a couple of years ago and he told a really crazy story about he was working on another game. He wasn't working on Psychonauts, but he told one of his coworkers about this idea he had for a game about Psychonauts. And one of the coworkers came into his office one day and said, "Hey, that game you told me that idea about a little boy going into other people's minds, like, are you going to make that game?" And Tim Schafer said, "That wasn't the idea I had at all. I had an idea about a boy going into his own mind, but your idea is way better. I like your idea better. Let's go with that." And that weird conversation created the series. It created those two games, and it started that whole ball game because we're just combining weird ideas together, finding the peanut butter and jelly and of that combination. And yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be so interesting to see what games shake out. But man, I will say this. I will say this, Sean, and I wonder if you agree with me. But
Say it.
I think that this generation will be known as the gaming generation with the most gaming slop ever. We are going to have so many games that are just doomed to obscurity.
You say that as if the near future won't be worse, because I think we're going to keep exceeding ourselves. I think the next generation will be, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. But I put this down. I actually noted this down when we were talking about Halo Infinite. I was thinking, like, are people getting so sick of live service that you think we'll stop? Because I really don't think so, but I would like to see that, because every game that removes it, like Arc Raiders kind of, is not. Arc Raiders doesn't have it is live service.
It's a trend. It'll go up and down.
Yeah,
I mean it'll be like I remember when World War II games were just the thing. Everything was a World War II game. And then I remember when zombie games were a thing. Everything was a freaking zombie game. Then I remember battle royales was a thing. Everything wanted to be a battle royale. Like, it goes in these phases, and like the strong ones stay, the weak ones just fall to the wayside. And still getting World War II games and zombie games, and there's still good ones and bad ones coming out. But all the same,
Halo tries all the trends and they fail miserably.
Yeah,
Halo tries all the trends, but one issue they have is they wait 3 years. Every single time.
Oh, yeah. And Concord showed us that, live service is something that you really don't want to just, tiptoe around. You actually gotta, and not just them. There's been quite a few other games that have started live service and really shut down incredibly early. Which just
my mind goes to X Defiant. I don't know if either of you are familiar with X Defiant.
Yeah. There's another one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Live service just shut down.
I had to go live service, just couldn't do it, and they had to shut down. And which is crazy that these games shut down. That like these regular multiplayer non-live service games can just go on, but because they're a live service and they can't provide the live service, they shut down.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to the preserving games movement, right? But still, it's just something that's so weird that. Like, what was it? 2 weeks? Concord
was up for 2 weeks. Yeah,
it's just gone. It blows my mind.
I think that's the definition of a not timeless game. They literally didn't exist for time.
That is a timed game.
A very timed, limited game.
It broke records for time.
Records for its amount of time.
That game was speed running.
Speedrun shut down.
Existence. Yep.
Yeah. That's the
webcomic of like, there's like a hilarious webcomic of like a kid being like, "Mommy, where's Daddy? He never comes home." And she's like, "Honey, he's hard at work. He's working all day and all night on a video game." Yeah. And the kid's like, "What's the name of the game?" Concord. Like, oh god, it's like,
oh no,
it's diabolical.
Poor Timmy. Yeah, I mean,
I do feel bad about a lot of the devs that worked on this that didn't have a lot to do with a lot of the decisions. Like, how unfortunate that like that's no longer in your portfolio, even though you made amazing textures for it, or like the animations or whatever. Like, obviously the marketing, whoever was in marketing and planning a lot of that stuff doesn't deserve to have jobs because they good planning.
You know what's funny?
There's a lot of
Now that I'm looking at your background on OBS,
Mhm.
that game kind of has a little bit of Concord vibe, but that's like done correctly. Isn't that kind of strange?
Isn't it? Isn't that wild? Like Concord did like the 70s retro kind of thing.
It's similar in a way.
Awful. It was hideous. It was bland. It just didn't have any uniqueness. And then like Arc Raiders is just like all their clothes look like scraps thrown together.
Yes,
and yet it has some sort of personality to it. It still has, a uniqueness to it. Like, and it doesn't even look like they're trying that hard, right?
No, they seriously cooked with the aesthetic. It's like Star Wars, but it's like hardcore Star Wars, like the dirtiest parts of the galaxy.
It's like grunge Star Wars.
Yeah, grunge
right?
Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
Such a cool
And then they did the synth music and everything.
Yes. It's a perfect match. It's a perfect mix of things, of vibes. Whoa.
Yeah.
Arc Raiders Glaze number 75 of our podcast series.
Let's keep it going. Let's run the counter in the top corner. Let's see how high we can get it.
Okay, I mean, unless anyone else has got anything to add, I think we're at a good spot to wrap up for today. We're around the 2-hour mark somewhere.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is that good with you two?
Good.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much once again. Peter at Goat on a Stick, Clyde at Salt Buff. Thank you for listening. I'll call it there. Goodbye, good night.
Yeah. See you guys around.